Modern Warfare 2 is a game in all its own, and it's really multiple games in one. I mean, we focus very much so on our story campaign, which is very cinematic. I mean, it's scored as a film would be scored. It's crafted as a single-player experience meant for one player. I mean, you're experiencing this action movie, but then we also have that multiplayer aspect, which is a beast in all itself. I mean, it's totally different from single player. It's all about multiple players jumping in a match. Every experience is different. But then we also have Spec Ops, which is co-op. It's all about you and your buddy, not even playing online. You can if you want, but just sitting down on a couch, old-fashioned fun. It's not story-related, and that in itself has unique locations and enemies and everything that's all its own. So it's really just bits and pieces for any type of gamer.
Cain was the first man ever to strike down another. And when the Lord came to him and said, "What have you done?" Cain could not hide his crime.
Well, the story of Modern Warfare 2 takes place all over the world. You take part in what's called Task Force 141. They're a multinational special forces unit, and the cool thing about playing as them is they're not your typical military. They're not standard boots-on-the-ground infantry. These guys are Spec Ops. They're going into locations before a war becomes a war. So you're doing a lot of covert ops. You're fighting, in the middle of cities with lots of civilians, and you're really going all around the world trying to track down this villain called Makarov, who took power after you killed Zakiev in the original Modern Warfare. Our story is very action movie focused. It's not so much real world conflicts. I mean, yes, sometimes we go to real world locations, and our tactics and the gear we use and all the military stuff is very true to life and authentic. But as far as the story goes, it's very, Makarov is this super villain, and you are this task force, and it's good versus evil. So we really like to be cinematic, but also not let that ruin the fun. Sometimes branch off from realism and just have that fun moment of like, yeah, you're stealthing into a Russian base, but then you're gonna escape on a snowmobile with a helicopter chasing you, which is very much more James Bond than it is real world fighting.
Hold on, don't let go.
There's almost as much cut than there is that actually makes it into the game. There's a lot of things fans request that we've tried. We've actually tried having vehicles in the game that you could drive, but we found that it broke the flow of the game. So basically, there's three guys fighting over a vehicle instead of getting into the action and fighting it. You have to make the maps bigger, so the paths are much wider, and maps are too wide and too big for good focused firefights. We want the action to be really tight, and there's always a front line, and you always know where to go, and there's always action.
Go, go!